I'm very good at jiggery-pokery. Anything above jiggery-pokery level, that goes outside of my tool set. I admire the boldness, but I cannot do that. Oh wait, 1, 2, 3, 7 and 8. Dude, you're reading it backwards, you idiot! That's the best song ever. The cards won't come out again. Hello and welcome again to the depths of my man cave to bring you another labor of love episode of me building this Fairlight. Alright, so I want to say thank you to everyone from around the world for sending me messages. It's still very humbling and lovely to get. I really love it. Speaking of which, around the world, do you know there's lots of Cris Blyths around the world? Yeah, I bet you didn't know that. Look at this one here. This one is in Canada with his friend Rick Jeffrey. Look at that. Clearly not me. I mean, you know. Here's another one. He's a policeman. He's got a proper job. He's got a helmet on and everything. Look at that. Clearly, again, not me. Helmets seem to be popular though, because here's another one. He's trying to kill Tony Stark. He's a helicopter pilot. Look at that. And this one, well, he's having a business meeting, clearly. Nothing untoward going on there. And then finally, there's, whoa, easy tiger. All right, anyway, thankfully that's all in the not me. Clearly, not me. Anyhow, let's get on with it. Okie dokie, so we have a quasi Fairlight. Some parts are working great, some parts are kind of not working, other parts are in a kind of limbo land. For instance, although the keyboard is working and the function keys are working, I can't do plus and minus and set. So it's actually stopping me from going through the voices and figuring things out. So I've got to figure that out. I feel I might go for a whole new keyboard, I don't know. I've got to get something working first. But the more pressing thing is that I've got digital cards that seem to be working and then not working, and then I've got analog cards that seem to be working. There's a lot of confusion. There's too many variables. So we've got to reduce the variables. So we're going to pull out all the analog cards and then concentrate on one card, make sure that one is working. That's going to be our datum. Then we're going to cycle through all the digital cards on the front cage, and they're kind of changing around. There was lots that was happening that now that I'm looking back at it, I recorded this a few months ago, I'm really understanding. But it'll all make sense in the end. Then once I've got the digital cards figured out, then we can move forward with the analog cards and all the other stuff I've still got to do. All right, let's get started. Okay, tonight is a good night, but a very strange night, because what I'm finding, I've got my MIDI keyboard set up like I did before. I've got it all working in the box, everything's running very cool, fantastic. Now, a bit of raspiness going on there. And that's only on the first channel. It's working a little bit funny. There's a couple of other things that isn't working that when I try and change the input, it doesn't seem to change. That's because I can't. There's some things that you need to do, like the set key and the plus and minus key, I simply don't have on this thing. So that's something I'm gonna have to figure out later on. All right, so the first order of the day is to get one good output card, a known output card, and we'll use that as our datum. We'll test all the other digital cards against that. Okay, so I started with my simple quest, but immediately I ran into a problem. But when it gets down to a certain sample, that's a Steve or a Chris question, or a Peter question. But that means the channel card is right. I think it's the RAM. I think it's reading from the RAM wrong. This is one of those rare occasions that was actually right about something from the get-go. Yeah, the last time what I did was, I tested all of these cards. That's why I put these cards in, because I did the same thing that I'm doing now, which is I found a good channel card that works on both channels, and then I would take the ribbon cable and go down the cards so that all who's calling? Hey, look at that. It's Steve Rance, everyone. I'm just recording a little bit right now. Check it out. All right, I'm going to pause on the recording.
I can at least brush my hair first.
So I believed at this point that all of the problems of the sound not coming up was a RAM issue, and I went down that road for a little while. So I give you this.
Sorry, 1 meg per column.
Right, but it's still 2 megs per row. And now we should have our 8 megs. Yeah, it's fun and games. So yep, 3 million. Is it going? 8 megs.
Starting off with all the switches in one position. doesn't matter whether they're all on or all off.
Right. All right, so now that we've got a single, so it turns out it's the RAM. I've got to figure out the RAM. Talk to Steve about this, and it's something to do with the RAM channel cards themselves. Now, the way that it works is that this is an 8 meg card, and the way that it works is that's 2, 2, 2, and 2, 2, 4, 6, 8. One of these isn't working, and it's giving us 6 megs, right? So it could be either of these columns. So what he's telling me to do is remove one chip from this one, and if it doesn't change, and it still says 6 megs, then it's this line. If it does change, then it's not this one. Do it until it doesn't change, and then you know that's the column, then figure out if it's whichever chip it is. Now you have to go down them or just replace an entire bank from a different card. That's fine. But right now we've got it working. I think the next test I'm going to do is load a couple of more voices and see what it's like with those. Because before, my actual goal was to go down each of these and test them one at a time, right? Now, Steve is cavalier enough that he says, don't worry, you can unplug and plug them in at will. What? Plug them in at just when it's running? And the fact that these cards are kind of like fragile and stuff, I know it's grounded, it's in there, nothing's going to happen, but pulling this cable out and going to that one, I admire the boldness, but I cannot do that. So what I am going to do though is take a sound like this, I'll test a few more, and then I'll switch it off, move it down one, and then I'll increase the polyphony. I want to have something that allows me to cycle through each of the channel cards, and I'll just try each channel card at a time, and it should start to work. If I put the polyphony to say 2 or 4, it'll go through them, because this is a stereo sample, so it's using both channels of the channel card. So if I put the polyphony to 2, it'll go boom, and then the next one it's going to do is the next one down, and then we'll be able to hear if it's working or not. So that's what I got to do now. All right, cool. That works. So I'm going to be switching this off and going through this whole process many times. Well, 8. If I look down here, everything hangs in the balance here. So I have this hanging, and then my school ruler serves to hold it all together. So let's see what this one does. Nothing from this one. Oh. That channel card is not good. Oh. Hello. Huh. All right. Nothing. Nothing. If this doesn't work, I'm trying to remember. I don't think I used the same ribbon cable going down the way. I plugged in the respective ribbon cable just one at a time. So if this doesn't work, it can't be all of these cards, because I've done chords out of this that sounded decent, had at least 4 or 5 notes that worked. That were somewhere a bit more buzzy than others and louder than others, but it did work. So it works fine. Damn it. That actually causes more confusion. Alright, card 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright. Boom, 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 boom. Nothing. Kind of. Huh. Alright. Okay. Alright, last card. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Success! Okay, so we've got 4 good cards and 4 bad cards. But the weird thing is, I know that those first cards that we plugged in, I had more success with before. So something to do with putting it back in the box and all that kind of stuff has made it be weird. Okay, I was in a bit of a conundrum. It's like a different set of cards now works, where a previous set of cards didn't. Why is that? What I'm going to do now is go back to the first card and cycle through these. now that I know that this is good, I could do that one. I want to get it on the first card and try this one and go through the output cards next. Boom. So right now I'm using a good and known output card, number 4, 331. So we're going to use that as our datum. All right, card number 1. That's a win. Card 2. Okay, testing card 331, card number 2. It's good, there's no channel 1. Let's try the next card. Okay, card 3. Louder for sure. Next. All right, last card. Great. So now, it seems fair enough that I can lay in the good cards. Hey! Talk about a win for the day. Fantastic. So let's just take this out. Look at that. He even screws it. No, it doesn't. Do it later, Chris. It's not important. Okay, 5. Okay, here we go. These things always get me. Alright, and then the last one. Okay. Well, there's the next problem. I now need to try the next cards because I know that the next card doesn't work. I know that that one works. I want to just do a little test. This might seem completely random, but I'm sure that these cards worked before. I'm surprised that we've got so many weird not working cards. So I'm going to put this on the second one just to see if it's something to do with the... Oh no, I don't want to do that. I want to do it with the... Let's try that out. Look at this. I've got 2, 4, 6, I've got 8 voices coming out of this thing. I don't have enough channels. I need more, and more of this, and I need more of that. Fantastic. Alright, this is a slight test. I'm putting in 2 cards. This card number, the one that's in the 14, didn't work before, which was quite surprising. But at the same time, let me go down to my list. Yeah, 14 wasn't working. Nothing. I like the Right, okay, so that card is not working properly. Let's try and reseat it and see if it makes a difference. Alright, reseating those cards made no difference, sadly. So, you know what that means? Those cards have to come out again. Or, how about I don't do that and I do something totally different that's just been nagging at my brain? Yes, so I got a call from Steve after I told him that I was going to have to abandon all the MFX work that I'd done on that keyboard and figure out a custom solution instead. And then he told me that all the commands, the plus and the minus and the set and all those ones that are kind of only on the MFX, only on the CMI keyboard, they're all just custom ASCII codes. They're just ASCII codes. So if you can find out the ASCII codes, you can get the key to work. Huh. He said go through from A to Z and maybe one of those will be it, because it's just part of the normal ASCII, the ASCII keys, apparently. I didn't know if it was going to be like special keys, like the function keys and the shift and control keys that change things. But I guess we'll soon see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go straight to the system configuration page and I'm going to go to that place that I can't change, so SC, and then what I'm going to do here, if you see here, there we go, so D. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down and I'm going to go over there, and then what I'm going to do is go through A to Z with control key and see if anything happens. Oh, C. So I found it. That's a O went to C. Boom. So A. And then I guess I don't need to press set, do I? Just stay. B. So N and O. O and N go up and down. Look at that. That is brilliant. So now I need to find I guess the set key. and once it sets it, there you go. It's Control C does it. So if I go down here, and then I go across, and I say I want A, I go A, and then it's Control X. Control X. So that's it. Control O and Control N are plus and minus, and Control X is set. Look at that. Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. Boom. So now what that means is if I load in, let's go to DIR, and I load in that thing, one of the things that was a problem before, if I load in, say something like this, right, which loads in multiple, I'm just loading in a system that's going to load in multiple voices. One of the problems is that when I was going up and down on the instruments, it wasn't changing to those instruments. It was staying with a stuck set MIDI port that was coming in, and I was having to change the MIDI port on this little keyboard. So now that this is loading, and I'm going to go I1 and I2 and I3 going up and down, it should now change because I can now set it to the A input. It should now work. So let's do that. All right. So now if we go to system configuration, and I'm on the first one, which is, let's just go to I1, boom. Now that's on bass. Ready? Fantastic. That's the best song ever. All right, here we go. I2, boom. Now we should hear sax drum. Yes, that's exactly not working. Damn. Is it F11 we need to press? Oh, right, now, I don't know why, but master is still set to master port D. So guess what, that's Control X is escape. It is not set. Right, so now if I go Control O, like that. If I go X, no, it seems to be there. If I go SC and draw it again, it's there, it's staying there. Right, so we're going I1. Right? Bass sounds, I2. Hopefully, yes! Ignore the noise, I3, boom. Boom! Another step closer. The plus, minus, and set keys. That is wonderful. I have a question. I wonder if this responds to MIDI stuff. I haven't tried any of that. I know it's responding to this, but I wonder, I just want to make sure maybe the MIDI, control stuff and everything is working. So I'm gonna, let's look at this, and what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna put it onto the effects page. All right? And let's just go onto something that's the let's go I1, right, which is bass, and let's just go to FX. Boom. Right? And then let's come down here, and then I'm going to change the attack. Whoops. Up. And I'm going to go patch input, which is 8. Bonk. All right? Move controller to patch. And I'm going to move this. Hello. Very close. Sorry about that. I'm going to move this down here on the keyboard. That's working. Fantastic. Okay, so the board in question that's distorted is the one with the damaged smoothing capacitors down there, and this pot which I glued back on, it was hanging around in midair. And I think I did, oh yeah, this is the one that I changed the resistor also. So this changes on this card for sure. It is working, but I'm going to give it the once over and look around to see if there's anything else. So these guys are all 1 nanofarad. So I'm going to replace it with 3 of these little fellows, brand new ones. This board, I've also replaced this capacitor here. Whoops. Wow. I've also replaced this capacitor here. The other two look totally fine. What sorcery is this? Flat? Not Phillips head? Good lord. What kind of maniacs were these Australians? The grounding shields on these cards is pretty important. It's pretty easy to kill these wee cards with a bit of static. So, it's important to have these in. Boom. Alright. Next one, I've got to get that stuck back on. And these are all looking crappy, so I'm just going to get... These are all chipped. So I'm going to take care of these guys. That wee board looked like it could really have some love, so I gave it a wee clean. I'm trying to get into the habit of, if I see something to fix, fix it straight away, don't wait. Okay, so it seems my video skills are not up to par, but as I didn't film it, but now that I've reseated the card, it sounds better. Okay, so now that we've got that out of the way, it's time to get back to the actual work. No. We're going to start measuring up that front panel, because we need to make this look right, even though it doesn't work. When the cage arrived, it didn't have a front panel. I always knew I was going to have to source one or find one or make one. So I started the process, getting the measurements from an original proper CMI front panel. Having an actual CMI to copy from makes this a lot easier. Thank you, Steve Rance, you dreamboat. Alright, of course I could buy these, but because it's a personal project, I want to do as much as I can myself. So of course now I'm going to go and model these in 3D like an idiot and print them out. Because, you know, let's just make life way more difficult than buying them. Have a look. Oh. Okay, so there's 2 sets of measurements to take here. The metal plate itself with all the notches and holes so that it fits onto the machine, and the second part is all the graphics and logos and the CMI lettering on the front that really gives it its face. I have choice A, get it manufactured for me, or choice B, do everything myself. A or B? Which one do you think? So I made a drawing and took it and got some local quotes. I was getting quotes of like $200 to $300 to $400 for one piece without the graphics, that's just for the metal. Now at this point I didn't know about the online options. So, however, we'll come back to this as right now we've got another problem. Alright, you know, as you get familiar with certain things as the project goes on and certain things don't scare you anymore. So the cards won't come out again. These cards are... I'm trying to take out cards 14 and 13 and 12. But no, I'm pressing that as hard as I physically can. Nope, which is really weird because I tested these cards before but no, the top one doesn't, the top part doesn't do anything, it just flips out of the way. So, being comfortable now with it, I'm quite happy to move this box back where it came from, and I'm quite happy to take the power supply off and flip it over, which is what I'm going to do, so that we can get access to this and just take these cards out. Right? Let's do it. Yeah, ta-da! Great! Okay, that was a bit more force than I thought, but it popped out. It actually came out of its slide. That's interesting. It came out sideways. Huh. Maybe the boards aren't, you know... Oh, this whole thing is still interestingly movable. Alright. You, sir, don't work. And neither does your friends, so we're going to take you all out. So let's just take out all the bad cards. So that'd be 13, 14. I did take out the right card. 14, 13, 12. 14, 13, 12. You guys have to leave the party. Yes. Yes, it came out of its track too. Wow, wow, wow. There's obviously a battle going on here, and I'm putting up a good fight, and I'm not going to give up. And I think if it knows that, it might just give me the card. Oh, see? You, sir, are made a good choice. Right, here we go. 13. Your time is up. 13. Wow. Okay, it came out. Phew. I'm actually impressed by how strong these little tabs are. Okay. Holy moly. Wow, wow, wow.
Alrighty, now that I've managed to remove the non-working cards, I thought it best to attempt to try the cards that I felt had worked before. So, this is me trying to figure out why certain cards are appearing in the BIOS at boot up time, and this is me also not understanding why other cards seem to be making the sound.
Alright, so, quick update. So a few things have happened. It turns out, let's just do a little summary. It turns out that the output cards that I thought were actually going to be the most problematic are mostly fine. Actually, all the channels sound almost the same, apart from the last card, only one channel works, that's fine. Now, but what was really confusing me is that I did test all the channel cards and I chose them. There were some that worked, some that didn't work, and chose them all and put them all in here knowing that they all worked. And but now that's not the case, and I don't know why or how it can get to that stage, but now I'm finding that certain cards are not being seen, or they're not making any noise. Now, channels 1 and 2 and 11, or 1 and 2 and 4, and the last two work fine, right? But the ones in between, so there's 4 that work, 4 that don't work. But what I'm noticing right now is that this card, which in the number 4 slot, is actually, when it boots up, it says it's in the 5 slot, but it says 1 and 2, so it's not starting from 0. So it says 1, 2, 5, 7 and 8. Cards are alive, coming up in the corner there. 1, 2, 3, 7 and 8. What's the deal? When it was in the... okay. Maybe it'll still work. It's getting confused. There's nothing in 3, my dear. Oh wait, 1, 2, 3, 7 and 8. Dude, you're reading it backwards, you idiot.
I'd also like to cut myself a bit of slack here. A real CMI has the cards numbered from 1 to 30 odd from left to right, like normal. My cage didn't have any of those numbers. So it was a bit of surprise when I saw that the cards that are being read by the BIOS when you start them up go from right to left, but the numberings on the mainframe go from left to right.
Okay, so now I made a massive discovery. The cards are counted this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, dummy, that's okay. Alright, so now I've loaded it up and I've put a polyphony of 6. So we should be getting notes out of all these 3, hopefully. Here we go. Good. Nothing. Is it on the, is it just the thing isn't on? Because this card was working before. And it's very quiet. Okay. Let's try something else.
So just to add insult to injury, the cards that I thought were working weren't. And now that they're installed, they're refusing to be removed. What?
Wow. If you can see this back plane, how much it's bending here. This is exactly my trouble. Look at my finger, look at this. Where is it? Can you see?
Again, any normal person would have stopped at this point to find another way. But no, not me.
Wow, wow, wow.
As you can see, the board has like a weird slight bend in it, which is just a bit worrying. I might have to take this out again. It might be the only way. Retape this up and pull out the whole thing. When the bottom rails weren't in, it was easier to just get your finger underneath and lift it, but now it's... Oh. This card that I thought was good, and I had moved from another place, is not good. I need to check my list, because I really thought 12 was like a good card. Right, maybe not. So 11 is a known good card. So I'm going to put that in here and just make sure that I get good audio on those channels. In. Can you believe we're back to these cards like this? Good God. Alright, so what we're trying to get is build up a selection of cards that we know works. Now, what's weird is I really thought we were on that track already. So let's just try it out, shall we? This is like deja vu because I've done all this before. Now I'm going to try loading that sample, just the normal brass one. I'm just going to do NP of 4, loading from the RAM. NP4, boom. Now we should get hearing it from each one. Ready? Great. Gonna add one more card. Boom. But first, dinner. Even though this card was marked as bad, I'm gonna try it again. I'm gonna give it another chance because it could have been that it was just one of the slots and it wasn't aligned. I got some of these cards worked before. I'm not mad. Okay, this is future Chris calling to let you, put you out of your misery. Maybe a bit late. It all comes down to card versions and revisions. The CMI 41 card that I had was compatible with a certain revision of the cards, those cards that were working. I thought, oh, these cards are all working. When I changed the CMI 41 card, I changed its version number. It's a much newer card. And the cards that were previously not working or I thought weren't working, now started to work. Turns out actually all the cards are working to a certain degree, depending on the version of the card that's controlling them, the CMI 41 card. Bah, there you go. So I'm just gonna go through these cards. Wasn't too bad getting them in and out. Apart from that one, you're not going back in. Alright, we shouldn't hear anything through just that, so I've got it on 6. So it should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we should hear something. 1, 2, 3, 4, no. Right, alright, it's proven the card does not work.
Next card.
Okay, next contender, 10. Could be a good card. Might not be a good card, gotta try it out. Oof. Okay, another development, it didn't boot, so I replugged the card, I've just jiggled it a little bit, and now both lights have come on. Alright, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, nothing, well. Wow. Don't know if that's right. Alright, one more card.
Next card.
1, 2, 3, 4, nothing.
Next card.
No.
Next card.
It is interesting, isn't it? Ah, this is tough.
Next. Repair things faster.
Alright, we've got the unknown card loaded into the good card position we know is a good place. It's card 11, everything's good. Fits in there, works. No. Nothing. Card doesn't work. Wow.
Change of plan.
I feel like it may be going mad or something, so I just want to make sure. I'm just putting in all the cards that I know that are good in at once. Even though those are different cards than the first set of cards that work, because the first set of cards that work, some of these cards like 8, 9, and those were over on this side. So 8, 9 weren't tested, but there was other two that were tested that were working, but now they're not working. I don't understand. I think it might be a memory thing, or the way that we're stacking them up, or version numbers, or having incompatible cards.
Nailed it.
2, 4, 6, 8. No, pull off any, pull it for a 4 for me. And see, because I've never done that. Right? MP8. Bonk. Let's see. That's interesting, only one of the cards. Silent. Now, the reason why I've left this card to the last will be fairly obvious. Haha, look at that. That's not good. I don't know if that's good. I would say that's not good. Nothing. Darn it. Alright, we tried. That's it for tonight.
It's Betty Bye time.
Alright, I didn't go to bed. It wasn't the end of the night. I found another CMI 32 Rev 2.8.3, whatever it is, and replaced it one of those. And then I added that one that only has got the one channel kind of ish working card over to the end there. So we should have, if we go to 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, we should have approximately 10 channels. So see that one there that I swapped around? It's clearly, because that was loud and it was fine before, so it's the output card that's quiet. Alright, fine. But it's working. Then the next thing I've got to do is the RAM. Now the RAM is being randomly accessing the memory, and I'm hopefully going to get it replaced with the one that Peter makes, the 32 meg one, which will just get rid of all the problems. And it might just be jiggery pokery. It might just need some jiggery pokery. I'm very good at jiggery pokery. Anything above jiggery pokery level, that goes outside of my tool set, because I'm jiggery pokery all the way. That's it. Jiggery pokery. That's my tool set. All right. We'll try this next. I'm going to be, once I get these working and I'm kind of happy, I'll pop them in, then I'll put it back together. Right? I'm going to wait, because I don't want to be taking it apart again. Now I just need to work on the output cards and the RAM. Then I've got to get the lid, this, so it goes on to this and not Steve's one. And that's it. Okay, sometimes, you realize you've been doing things the wrong way. Well, all the times of me pulling these cards out with my thumbs and everything, it was painful. But all of that time, my brain, my kind of engineering science brain was going, there is a better way. But did I listen to that better way? No, I didn't. I just I've got to do this. I'm going to bite on this glass until the bottle is dissolved. But that is not correct. So I'm thinking that it's only when I have the elf like this. It was always easier to get them in and out like this, but now I've perfected my technique with this tiny little screwdriver. You just apply some perpendicular force and the card comes out, just like that. Look, let's see if I can do this with this one here. Put it underneath and I just lift it up and boom, out it comes. Just like that. That was like a really good demo. Ta-da! Okay, good stuff. That's good. We figured out the RAM issue thing. Fine, done. We figured out the cards, the digital cards, the voice channel cards work great. Got that figured out. All right, we also got the analog cards figured out. That's a massive success. And we got the plus minus keys working on the MFX. What? It's a good result.
Okie dokie, that's one more episode down. My goodness, at 40 minutes. I really wish I'd kept these smaller, but hey, what can you do? We've still got a ton more work to do. Although the machine is making sound now and I can kind of like make sounds out of it, there is still a lot more that needs to be done so I can actually use it. For instance, I don't have a mouse. I need to get a mouse working. And there's several different routes I'm going to have to go to figure out that, which you'll see. What else? I've got the SCSI to SD card. Now it's working, it's Steve's, it's a clone of Steve's one, but I'm using Steve's card. I've got my own card, I'm now going to get it working. And it's also got a very cool feature, it's a USB input feature, which is very cool, which I'll find out about. I have got other things, like I've got to get, it right now it doesn't mount anywhere. If I'm going to mount this machine, it'll need those rack ears to be made. And they're custom ones, they're not just any run-of-the-mill ones, so I'm going to have to build that. I've got the 3D hinges and the 3D latches to make for when I eventually get the plate done, and I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to get that done too. Will I get it manufactured? Will I make it myself? More than likely. So there's that, and there's other things like, does the metronome work? Does sync work? Do any of these basic things in the other programs work? I don't know. So, we will see on the next one. Cheers. Oh! Ha-ha! Look at that! All right, you're coming with me. 88 megabytes. This one's a winner. So we're going to go from this, put this back on stage machine, and then let's get this going. I really don't know what to feel about this.